Welcome again to another wonderful day with Iris and myself. And today we're going to talk about self awareness. And Iris, I'll start with you. Tell me about self awareness in your eyes.
Self-awareness is it's actually the key to everything. At least that's my knowing, that's my belief until you become aware of yourself. It's not about just aware of the things you like or don't like, but the depthness of you. The one within you that makes your heart beat, that goes past the desires of life. Being aware of your worth, being aware of yourself, of what we call that inner child. That self self without awareness, we don't know our values. We don't know what we want. We don't know why we want it. So self-awareness is the key, and we have life will not leave us alone to become aware of oneself. That's
Yes.
the thing.
Yes. And sometimes, being aware of how we recognize things, how we understand things, our own emotions, our own actions, there's so many parts of an everyday life that we don't pay attention to, which is good. Because if we were to pay attention to everything, our brains would explode and we couldn't concentrate, right? Like
Yeah,
right now, I'm hearing a fan because my air conditioning just kicked in, right?
I
And
don't
there may
hear it.
be something walking in the background, right? Like all those things, if we were to pay attention to every little thing, which happens a lot with kids that have sensory integration, right? They see, they really are aware so much of their senses that it overwhelms. It
Oh yes,
overwhelms.
it
Yeah,
could
it can
be
be very
overwhelming.
overwhelming. So, that is important. And that is part of our own brain helping us and helping protect us and helping us continue to do well. But then what happens sometimes is we become desensitized to getting to know ourselves and self awareness and who am I, right? And why am I doing the things that I'm doing?
Yeah.
And in therapy and coaching, one of the questions that we told not to ask is, why did you do that? Right? Because a lot of times when you say, why are you,
And why?
standing the way you're standing or putting your hand like this, most people will say, I don't know. Because we're not always aware of everything we do. But recognizing and understanding our own thoughts, our own values, taking that moment at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, at the end of the day, to do a quick self assessment. Where are my thoughts going right now? Right?
What is this thought telling me?
What is this thought? What is this feeling telling me? What is this action that I just did? Have you ever reacted in a way that was completely unlike you, that it even surprises you?
All the time. I mean, not all the time, but a lot of time. I'm like,
Yeah.
what did I do?
What?
What did that came from?
Did I just say that? Or did I just do that? And that's a lack of self awareness, right? For that moment, there was a lack of self awareness. And it's so easy to just be like, that was just weird. And instead of going, that was just weird, take a second and say, where did that come from?
You know what? You just reminded me of something. Right now, I'm having a but you just reminded me of something. One day, I was about to go to bed, and I became aware of a thought
Mm-hmm.
that was not of this world. It sounds so unsurreal, sounds crazy, but it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment, I was like you said, what did that come from?
Yeah, where's that coming from?
If I had not had a relationship with myself, I would have been really scared because it was a very scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. A lot of time becoming self-aware, it will help us recognize the things that belong to us and the thing that doesn't belong to us. That thought came to my mind, but it wasn't my thought. It was something that I cannot explain because we have to go deeper into what it was. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember stopping and say, "Whoa, what is that?" And it happened again. I'm like, "Really, mine? Like seriously, what are you doing?"
Where's this coming from? Yeah.
So becoming aware of ourselves, like you said, is we cannot escape it. Eventually, we're going to have to confront who we are. and ask ourselves those questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What are my values? What is my purpose?
Yeah.
Why
And
do I
I
do the
think
things?
a big part of self-awareness, or to me, because one of the things is I've always seen self-awareness videos and things like that, but how do we do it, right?
How do we do it?
And I think the first one to me, at least when I was in my own journey of self-awareness, and I feel like you're always in that journey, even once you started, you always feel like you're in that journey.
It's a
It's
never-ending
not
journey.
judging. It's not
Not
judging.
judging.
Not judging yourself, not judging your mind, not saying, well, that was bad or that was good or that, but saying, okay, where did that come from? Like we were saying, that was different,
It was different.
right? What is this thought or this feeling or this whatever telling me? To me, that's one of the first, I will say first and second step. If you're fully unaware, and I always say you're fully, I've seen people be very, very not self-aware
Oh,
to
yeah.
the point where they come off to other people in one way or another, and then you ask them about it and they're like, I didn't do that. Well, they are not even realizing what they're doing. So sometimes we do have to look at other people, and if I say something and you make a face saying, okay, what was that? What did I do? And again, this is when the non-judgment part comes in, when the person says, when you said blah 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 blah, it felt like you were attacking me, or you felt like blah blah, and that's when you go, okay, that's not how I meant it, or maybe that is how I meant it, who knows. But maybe this is something I have to learn on how to talk. This is something that I have to learn on how to listen. This is something I have to learn on how to whatever, right? And so seeking that feedback from others is important, because sometimes with self-awareness, the main thing is if you don't have it, you may have to ask somebody, how do you see me? And have that person be honest in how they see you, but not in a judgmental way, in an open fashion of saying, okay, I want to be better.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that one thing that you said, sometimes we are not aware of the things that we do and the things that we said, and asking other people to help us understand by how they perceive us, right? One thing that defined that for me, that defined when someone is aware of oneself versus someone that is just going through life, just acting
Emotions.
and doing and following scripts, is how they treat oneself, how they live their life. Like for instance, when you are aware of oneself and you know that you are nature's greatest miracle, that the purpose of life is to love and to give love and receive love. When you find yourself doing malicious things or doing behaviors that are harmful to yourself or others, it's a sign that there is a lack of self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Going deeper into the core of 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 oneself, of how we are individually. So, like you said, starting, if we don't know, look at your environment and see how you're relating to others. Are your relationship peaceful more time than not? Are you at peace with yourself? And I don't like the word happy, because
Mm-hmm.
happy is a lot of time attached to ha 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 ha. Every time you see people ha ha ha, and they are the most miserable people inside, feeling not that they are, but they feel that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's not true happiness. That's just a mask of the moment.
Yeah.
So look at your interaction with others. Is it peaceful? Is it kind? Is it loving to yourself? And how is projecting to others? And that will guide
Oh.
us
Mm-hmm.
to self-awareness. Are we aware of who we are? And if we're not,
Yeah.
if your life is chaos for most of the time, whether it's work related or relationship related with another partner or whatever it is, ask for help, because we all need help. It took me a long time to get to this point, and I
Yeah.
couldn't do it by myself. I have to ask for help.
Of
So,
course. And I feel like it's an ongoing thing, right? I
Always,
feel like I'm here now, but there's still things that I'm working on all the time,
every day.
right? Clarifying our things, reading, sometimes even reading or watching a movie and stuff like that. Sometimes I learn a lot, and I do watch a lot of
I
movies and TV.
love movie. Teach me. Movies
Yes,
are well teaching me.
because it's all characters, right? And these characters portray who people are,
Yeah.
right? And like you said, looking at your relationships, are all your relationships tumultuous? And we were talking about in one of our last meetings how, I have a side hustle. In my side hustle, I do human resources. And sometimes there's people that don't get along in the people in this team, and then we move them to another team, and now the people in this team don't like him, and then we move them to another team, and the people in this team don't like him.
What is the
Maybe
common
it could be something
denominator?
within you. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it could be something within you. Not that I can say that as an HR person, right? That would be very appropriate. But
But it doesn't
the
make you
therapist, the coach,
bad. It makes you
exactly.
aware of who you are. It's not that you are bad when there's a pattern.
No.
And not even your behavior makes you bad. The behavior is bad if it's harmful, but it
Yeah,
doesn't make you bad.
it doesn't make you
But it
bad.
makes you aware so you can
And
break out of it.
exactly. And that's the thing. Sometimes when I'm watching a movie or something, I will see a character and I'm like, oh, I do that. A character that's doing something and it's not the good thing, the way people, I'm like, oh man, I do that sometimes. And then it makes me self-aware. Exactly. Like me, right? And then it makes us self-aware and say, okay, this is something I need to change. And freeing ourselves from assumptions and biases, right? That, like we were saying, like, oh, you're bad. No, that behavior is bad, but that behavior is something I can change, right?
Exactly.
I always like to, in my path of self-awareness, I always like to practice gratitude.
Oh, every day.
Yeah. And just
Thank
being
you.
grateful for, what I am learning. Thank you for my ability to see this in myself.
Exactly. It's like this
Because
pain.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you were telling
Thank
us
you.
last time that you were having the pain in your shoulder. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, thank you for what you were showing me. Maybe I don't understand why, but I know the pain is to show me something. So
Something.
thank you. Thank you. I no longer need you. I see you. I perceive you. But thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. And coming from that place of gratitude, even when we realize it, like I said, and we're like, oh, I really don't like that about myself, not putting a blind eye to it, because the moment we do that, that's just gonna keep showing up. No, take that down, like you said, face it, face that pain, face that situation and say, okay,
And with gratitude.
what
Face it
am I
with
gonna do with
gratitude.
gratitude? Like, thank you for showing me this. Now I have to do, now I'm gonna do something about it, right? Now
Exactly.
I'm
It's
gonna
like
see what.
cancer. You cannot see cancer usually until it's too big, right?
Mhm,
So when you have the opportunity to get to it, thank you. Because otherwise, you open your eyes one day and you go with it because it's too late, right? But
mhm,
when you become aware of things that are not supposed to be there, or that are not, they're not supposed to be there, they're there for something, but they are not. They are not there
helpful.
to. Exactly. They
Help.
are helpful. They destroying something. And that's why we call it cancer, because it's right.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's thank you for showing me this. Not get angry at the body, because the body is just loving you. It's
Mhm,
showing you something that needs attention, because you are way more than a body. And it becomes to becoming it goes to go back to self-awareness
mhm.
by realizing that we are more than what we see and hear.
No,
This is beautiful.
definitely. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
well, with those wonderful words, we do want to invite everybody, please like, comment, share, throw in the comments. Iris, you always remind me of this one. Throw in the comments. What comments do you have? What else would you like us to talk about? What are some ways that you practice self-awareness? And I really want to give us, like, if you can put in the chat, ways that you have practiced self-awareness, because somebody else may read it and say, you know what, that's something that I can use as well.
And
So
reach out
throw
for
that in the
help.
chat. Yeah,
Reach
we're
out for
all here to
help.
help each other.
Yeah.
So definitely thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.